Okay, essentially, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes.
Okay, now this is what you see. This is what you see when you log into your TaxproMax. Essentially, you have the tax dues. So for this, I should be expecting to see a VAT here. Yes, of course. So this is pending. So now you see, I have an assessment period, accounting year end. Okay, then the range is from July to what August. Then this status here now is what in view, right? In view, it means that it has actually not reached or become something due for now. Then you also see the next line is what filing. It's currently showing what pending filing. It means that we are actually not what filed. And you also see another column for payment. Payment is also what's pending. So let's assume I want to I might not be able to complete this process, but let me just take it through. Then the next thing I need to do now, once I'm on this page, for the VAT that is due for the period, because on a monthly basis, the FRS will always inject it automatically on your TaxproMax. All you just need to do is go to your TaxproMax, open it, then you just follow this process. So the first thing is what you process it, then you have these items. So, but essentially, you can move if you don't complete the sales schedule. You can't go to your purchase because it will give you what an error. So we always start from the first to the last. So the first one is what go to your sales. Then this is how you have it. So now depends on the reporting company. If you are reporting in Naira or Great British or USD, whichever one you add it to it. Then so now let me first of all quickly take you through a company that does not have a sales for the period. So that means you don't have a vertible sales for the period. So essentially, you are still going to what? File. So what are you filing at this point? You're just filing new. You're actually doing a new filing. So what I would do in this case, and assuming that I don't have a sales or I didn't do any business last month or something. So all I just need to do is what? Proceed. So there's no need for me to go and what? Choose a file or what? Download the template. So all I need to do is what? Just proceed. Then from this place, you see no purchase records found because at some point in time, FRS was trying to introduce this method whereby you are only in control of what your output VAT. Then your input VAT must have already be automatically what injected from the person that you are what buying from. But I think it actually didn't really work out well because I was in that case I should be able to see those injections based on my input VAT automatically. So this place, I will just have to what? Proceed. And then still proceed. So this is the final page. This is the submission page. So in this place, there are so many things you can do here. So now, once you are at this point, you know that you are filing for new. We're assuming that we are filing what a new filing. So all you just need to do is what? Come to this place, click this. That means confirming that you understand all those things you have added to this place, then you move on. But in this case, we are not submitting because we still want to go back and do something. Because in as much as you have actually not submitted this button, you can easily go back and make as much adjustments you want to make on it. So what I will do now is I'm going back, assuming that I have sales for the period, and I need to file them. So what I'll do first now is come to this place, click on the Nigeria and the currency, then choose a file. But currently I don't have a file, so I need to download the template first because you have to use the template to what upload. The first thing is what I download the template. Then I'm going to open up the template. So on the template now, you see I have several columns. Beneficiary. So these are the people that bought from me for this period. Company A, Company B, Company C. Beneficiary TIN number is also required. Then items. So the description of the item, cost of the what items. So when they say cost now, please get this one. Get this one. When they say cost, it's just the cost of the asset, not cost plus VAT. So that means, what do I mean? If you are selling a motor vehicle for 20 million and there's a VAT on it, probably 15 million, what we need here is just the 20 million, not 15 million plus 20 million, make it 35 million, because it's just like you're overestimating it. Because automatically, when we are submitting this sheet, the VAT will what automatically be what computed. So what we need there is just what the cost of sales, the actual cost we are selling in goods, not with VAT. Then the item description, you also add the item description. So now pay close attention to the last column, which says what VAT status. So you see, they are being represented by what numbers. You have 0, you have 1, you have what 2. 0 is for what vatable what supplies. 1 is for what 0 what rated what supplies. Then 2 is for what VAT what exempt. So what does this mean? By implication, even though your goods is exempted or 0 rated, that means the FRS or the service is still expecting you to what? Submit a complete schedule. Don't just do, okay, probably because these are 0 rated or exempted, let me just go with for the one that are vatable. Then you create your schedule based on that. So speaking of schedule now, like I told you before, the first thing you do when the month starts is, first of all, collate all relevant information to what create the schedule. So now this is scheduled by getting all the people you suit to, getting their thing ready, knowing the types of sales in terms of descriptions and the rest. This is what I mean. So now that schedule should have actually been ready by now. Of course, I think I also have my schedule here. So now for the sales, these are the sales for the month. These are the sales I made for the month. I can just quickly do a quick test of VAT. I can say VAT at I can say VAT as 7.5%. Then I'll have a total what? Total supply. So now this is what I mean by you creating the schedule. So now depends on the organization. So there are so many factors or things you need to like put in place that might make this one not exhaustive. But what we just need is what? Knowing the people you sold to, at what price, and the possible VAT cost on it. So what I just need to do is what? This is equals to what? The sales times what? 7.5, which will give me what? 450. So now this is what I'm essentially, if I'm selling without any output VAT, that means I didn't without any output VAT incurred, this is what I'm going to be remitting to government for selling 18 million. Then the total supply in this case would be the 6 million plus the VAT. So now if you can still recall vividly, when they say in your tax invoice, in your VAT invoice, it should what? Be a combination of what? Both the, okay, so when they say the value of your what? Vatable what? Supply. This is what they mean by the value of your what? Vatable supply. That is the amount plus VAT give you to what? The value of your what? Vatable what? Supply, which is what? This last line you are saying here. So now I already have this on my own sheet. So now once I download the templates from FRS, so the next thing I can just do is what? I can just copy these items and fill it in appropriately. I'll go to this sheet. These are the names. I will paste them here. Then for the thing, it's just a demo, so I might just have to maintain this thing, even though I know it might actually not be correct. Then in this place, I can just say goose. Let me just say goose. But this should be in alignment with what you do in your organization in terms of items. Then the next aspect I'm telling you now, this place is where I was telling you, you need to bring in this value, the amount, not the VAT, not the total supply, because the TaxproMax will automatically do their own computation, and you are still going to arrive at the same thing. Sorry, are we all here?
Yes, you're here.
Okay. So now, then the item description. Now, this can be any description you can want to give it.
Sorry,
Probably see.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please,
Okay.
can you just walk through everything? Like, can you just find a way to, how do I put it now? To just summarize, because we still have another speaker and
Yes,
time
yes,
is.
I will. Okay, yes, I will summarize now. I'm summarizing. In fact, I'm on the last phase. Sales of sales of goods. So you just know the best description you're going to give it. Then I'm actually leaving it at 0 because I feel all items here are what VATable. There are no exempt. They also know what 0 rated. So in this place, so that is it. So now I'm going to be uploading this. But before then, you see this sheet, I have a sales, I also have what purchase. So these are purchases I made for the period that relates or directly impacts my what sales. So these are what you should know as what you can calculate your what input VAT on this, right? So I'm not showing this to you. We're going to use it later. So now I'm going to go back to my TaxproMax and upload. So my TaxproMax, where is it? Okay. So the next thing I do now is since I'm here, I'll just choose a file. I think it's under download. Download. Okay, here. Pick it up. Then upload. So once I upload it, what do you have? I have 80 million total. Then I think I'm good to go. Then so the next thing now is what I'll proceed. So all my items have been what moving. So the next thing is I proceed. I also proceed. I proceed. Then so now this is where the main aspect is. I think this is where you need to really like pay close attention to. So now what I have here now is essentially I'm going to have a VAT of what? About what? 1.3 million, which essentially I think is also the same thing we have here. Yes, 1.35 as our VAT what's payable. But don't forget, I also told you that we also have some input and VAT we need to what claim, which is what these items we use in production that we also need to what claim, because I told you before that your VAT payable is what your output VAT minus your what input VAT give you what you are going to remit. So now in this case now, this is where you actually make the adjustments. So now from 10, it's being numbered from 10 to 60, all speaks to what? Output VAT. That means the one you charge on your sales. Then from 70 to 150 speak to what? Input VAT. So now for me to be able to claim my input VAT, I must be able to like come under this place. So now they have been able to like classify it into what? Domestic purchases as well as what foreign what based supply. So now let's assume what I'm doing currently is what current domestic purchases. That means all those costs I incur are just within Nigeria. I purchase everything in Nigeria other than zero or exempted goods. So what I'm going to do now is I'll copy that value. I'll copy this value from my sales, from my input computation, input VAT computation or cost. I'm going to copy this value and take it to my TaxproMax. So automatically it will help me readjust my VAT payable from that 1.3 to this, because your input VAT essentially is to help you reduce your VAT and liability. Then there's another aspect again you need to also look at. That is the line 190. So line 190 speaks to what? VAT withheld. Like I told you before, VAT withheld happens when you sell to government parastatals or financial institutions and they withheld on your what? On that portion of your VAT. So once you know the value and you have followed it up, then you can come. Let's say the VAT withheld during this period was, let's say, 1 million. The value of the whole stuff is 1 million of the goods. You also impute it on this line 190. Then what you have essentially now is a further reduction in your tax, because essentially it has only nailed it out. Or if you feel like that is too high, we can just reduce it to what? 500. So now this is what you have from 1.3 as input VAT to 1. What? To 362, because you have put into consideration your input VAT as well as your VAT what withheld. So once you are done, you can essentially go back and just click on this aspect and submit. So once you submit, so this close the phase of what filing of returns. So the next phase is what? Remittance. You are going to be prompted to pay through either remitter or any of those payment platforms. So pay through it. Once you make your payment, that means you are done with the remittance phase, which you have completed the compliance process as it relates to VAT for that period of time. So that's for that. And conclusion. So VAT still remains a critical source of revenue to Nigeria. So no doubt, is one of our major source of revenue, and business requires to proper register, maintain an accurate invoicing and record keeping, and also adhere to what timely remittance. So full compliance is also very, very important, because if you are not compliant, there are so many sanctions and penalties you're also going to be. So we also have to look out to the new tax act, that's Nigeria Tax Act, that will be becoming effective from next year, and how it affects the VAT processes as well. So ultimately, it's very important for us to try and check it and see how we can improve on our compliance. Is very, very important. And like I said before, if there's any place I'm actually dreadful in terms of this VAT, is those penalties and interest. It's on a daily basis, and you would not really want to face it. Thank you so much for sharing me this your scarce time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. I think that's all from me.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Abdulwahab.
Thank you.
I thought that you touched various key points in the new tax act as it relates to VAT and everything else. So thank you so much. Please, for those who have questions, we will just take a few questions, because our next speaker is waiting already to get the mic. So if you have questions, please you can unmute your mic and ask.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Please, I have
Thank
some
you.
questions. First question is, you talked about a place whereby we have, for instance, our ELP, right? We contracted it out to an external consultant, and the person is not actually residing in Nigeria. He does not have any permanent establishments in Nigeria. Are you now saying that such services will be subjected to VAT? And then
Yeah.
if services is subjected, how will I remit such VAT to the company, considering
So
the fact that the company does not reside in Nigeria?
okay now.
Second thing, what if you are an industry, manufacturing industry, most of their raw materials are imported, right? And then these vendors they don't have any foreign establishment, permanent establishments in Nigeria, and their invoices are not VATed. How do I go about it so that I'll be complying to the law? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let me quickly just take this one first. The first one, right? I think the first one, and that first scenario will fall under self-charge, right? Like I told you before, we have some category of non-residents that actually supply services to Nigeria, right? So in this case now, you are going to self-charge on it in the sense that, let's assume you, so now they are rendering services to you for a software, ERP, let's say it's 200,000. Based on our tax law currently is what? One, what? One, 7.5%, right? Then look at 7.5% of this amount of money. Then inform that guy that this, based on Nigeria tax law, irrespective of you being a resident or not, in as much as we, the company which you are providing these software services to, is based in Nigeria, there's a requirement for us to what do a kind of self-charge or withheld on this what invoice and remit on behalf of you to government. So now this one will now fall under you, a Nigeria-based company, to actually what complete this process. Either you advise them to have for them to like get a VAT representative in Nigeria that will be responsible for their VAT filing and the rest, or if they don't have it, then you are going to what self-charge for it, then remit to the relevant, or in this case, the Federal Inland Revenue Service. I don't know if this is clear.
Yeah, kind of. But you explain the fact that exported services and goods are VAT exempted. But here in this case, we are importing, which means that those vendors are actually exporting those goods to Nigeria.
Okay,
Aren't
now,
they?
no. When we say export, right, we mean Nigeria-based goods going outside, not foreign goods coming inside. I don't know if you get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now
But
in this
how
case,
would you
now,
know?
in this,
But
how
sorry,
you uh,
how would you know if a vendor, a local vendor, a Nigerian company, right, and you considering the fact that you mentioned the fact that if a company is less than 25 million, is exempted from charging VAT or for registering for VAT. So how would you know if you are dealing with a company that is kind of not if that particular transaction is actually subject to VAT? Because I've seen the cases whereby a vendor is a small business. We know that it's a small, but yet he's charging us VAT. How can we go about that? And you also talked about self-charging. Again, if a vendor is not charging VAT, is it not going to be like I'm pushing more of my cash flow to such a vendor if I'm self-charging? That's the two questions. Thank you. That's the final.
okay. Now the first one, right, that has to do with how will you know if it's a small company or not, right? So a small company literally will, first of all, if they actually know the law, they will include a VAT on their invoices when they are sending to you. So that will also prompt you to ask first, okay, so why are you not, why am I not saying VAT on this? Because before you can just go ahead and do a self-charge on it, first of all, the first thing I should do is what? First of all, communicate with those guys. Okay, so what is the rationale behind you not charging VAT on this? So they will say, okay, probably okay, because I have actually not met with what? The threshold of this. And then for a small company that is also withholding tax, whereas it's not within that threshold of that, it's also a very good idea to first of all communicate with them that, okay, there's actually no need for you to what embark on this compliance journey, in as much as you have actually not reached that threshold. Then the second question, sorry, I actually missed it. I don't know if you can just like come back on it.
It's about the self-charging. A local vendor, right, rendering a service for supplying goods to you. How would you know if you are expected to self-charge? And it will not just be as if you are pushing more of you. You know, if you are self-charging, the vendor does not charge VAT on his invoice. But so if you are now self-charging, that means you are charging VAT on that particular services or goods
Mm.
that
Yeah,
was supplied to you, and you have to pay it. Is it not going
yeah.
to be like I'm pushing more of my own cash
Okay.
flow
Yeah, I
to the
understand. So now
government?
that's what I'm also trying to let you know that okay, the first thing you do once you receive such invoice, right? The first thing is to first of all get the rationale behind such vendor not including. It's not like you're just doing it in isolation. The next action you are going to take, either to self-charge or not, depends on the response you are going to get from such vendors.
So in addition, you can also factor in the VAT to the cost of the goods and services you are selling, since you don't want your own cash flow to I don't know how to explain, since you don't want to be the one spending your own cash and paying for their VAT and all that. So you can just factor the VAT elements into the cost of the goods and services you're supplying to help your own cash flow too. So I can see all your hands that are raised, but for the purpose of time and all that, due to time constraints, and so that this recording does not run too long, we would proceed to take the second speaker now. But you can type your questions in the chat box and we would treat that probably after the session, or you can just reach out to the speaker. We are trying to do this for the sake of time. It's already late and we have another speaker. So please bear with us. Type your questions in the chat box and we will take it up from there. Thank you. So bringing on our next speaker for this evening, her name is Titilope Victoria Ariyo. Titilope is a driven young woman serving as the assistant tax manager at Flour Mills PLC. With a solid foundation in risk and tax management from her stay at Honeywell Flour Mills, she is deeply passionate about career growth and personal finance. A devout lover of God, Titilope believes um Titilope believes in leveraging the power of finance to elevate one's standard of living. She's dedicated to sharing her insights on achieving career growth, financial wellness, and fulfillment. So with a round of applause, with I would like to see your reactions and all that. Let's make